This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hi everybody, welcome to show 212 Aussie Mac Zone. Lucky enough to have everybody here, Nick and Garth, looking after the world.
How are we?
We good?
I'm great. Nick's back. Michael's here. The world is good.
Yes, it is. So don't forget, we are brought to you by athwebhosting.com.au. Affordable competitive plans, 99.95% uptake. I know I tell you every week, domain registration's available, free setup, auto setup, 24/7 instant activation. Accepts PayPal as well as other cards. 250 scripts installed with one click, including WordPress and Joomla. And don't forget the C panel, the industry standard user-friendly feature-rich control panel. 24/7 ticket support, friendly help when needed, and all from $5.95 per month when paid annually.
I must admit, I do love me a bit of cPanel.
Yes, does make life easy. I've had to do some Wix work this week, and sorry people, I don't recommend it.
Okay.
Very hard.
As long as they pay you for it at the end of the day, it's all good.
Yeah, but the Wix, you can't even export the Wix site off. Like, it's not one that I set up, and you can't set it up on, like, I can't take it to ATH web hosting, for example, because their code doesn't work. So unusual. But anyway, just a little update with our open letter that we talked about. So far, Aldi have replied to the email suggesting I ring on 1300 number. I did that, but they could not answer the question and advised that I email feedback and Aldi. And they replied back a little bit today, but I've sent them the question just to make sure we're in agreement of what they're saying.
Make sure you agree about what the question is.
Yeah. So, to start with, Apple Pay now works with EFTPOS cards from ANZ in Australia. Apple Pay in Australia today has expanded to support EFTPOS cards from the ANZ Bank. The move was announced in a press release from EFTPOS, while Apple has also updated the Australian version of its Apple Pay website to indicate the new support for EFTPOS cards. For retailers, this move means a much lower fee rate. In Australia, if a debit card is used via Apple Pay, there's roughly a 0.55% fee to the merchant. EFTPOS, however, drops this significantly to 0.15%. It essentially treats the Apple Pay transaction the same as if the customer paid normally using their EFTPOS cards. And it also lets us choose cheque or savings account. And you can choose that from the Apple Pay on your phone, for example. So I think that's awesome. I've been using it, and
That's
I think that's
fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah, go ANZ.
Yep.
You know, only have you? Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I have
excellent.
got so used to going places with just my phone.
Yep.
Or my watch, and being able to pay. That
Yes,
the other day
yep.
I went down to Aldi, and they don't accept American Express, so my Apple Pay wouldn't work. So I had all this stuff. Can't use it.
Gotcha.
Can't buy it. Let's put it all back and go home.
No.
Yeah. So I just need more banks. Come on, guys. Suncorp, Commonwealth, all the rest of you, get on board with Apple Pay for your consumers.
They're getting smarter because they got rid of that little, $2.50 fee when you use someone else's EFTPOS machine, or not the EFTPOS, the ATM. So
The ATMs, yes.
yeah, so they're slowly waking up to themselves.
One step at a time.
Yeah. Now, a reminder: iPhone 10 goes on pre-order 6:01 p.m. this Friday. Now, what makes that hard for Australian people is a lot of us are still driving home, for example, so we'll all have to pull over down a side street, start attacking our phone.
And 6:01 p.m. is actually, what's that, 5:01 p.m. in real time?
Yes.
And some other completely different time in other times.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is Eastern Daylight
Like
Saving Time, 6:01.
Yeah. 6:01.
Queensland time, 5:01.
Makes it even harder because that means everyone will still be at work.
I know. I'll be like, I'm finishing right on time today, and I'm
Yeah.
sitting there with my phone ready to go.
So, a reminder that the choices are space grey or silver. The 64 gig at Australian dollars, $1,579, or the 256 gig at $1,829. So yeah, and if you want the Apple Care Plus, I think that's $229 or $299. I've got it in another story.
$300 extra dollars.
Yeah, but remember, as we said earlier, it is glass either side, so it might be a good investment.
I don't know. I've got a couple of iPhone 4s sitting here. Where are they? And I think they're glass both sides, and they're both fine.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. $300. Those prices are scary enough as it is. Add
Yes.
another 300 on this, on the top of the range. Then you're over.
Yep.
You're over 2K.
Yes. And it's a phone,
Ouch.
pal. It's a phone. It's an Apple phone. It's a leader.
I'm scared. I'm very, very scared.
Now, some people have suggested that for ordering our phone, use the Apple Store app. And so this might surprise you, but the Apple Store app is a surprisingly reliable way to make purchases and pre-orders through Apple. Buyers even report that the app is faster than Apple's website for pre-ordering during those heavy traffic times.
100% agree. Definitely the quickest way. AirPods I got straight away.
Yeah.
When I got my first Apple Watch, I think one of which you have or had, they were through the Apple Pay app, and I got them straight off.
Yep.
Not the Apple Pay app, the Apple Store app. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, so we open the app, we tap shop in the bottom menu, we tap iPhone, we tap iPhone 10, we tap iPhone 10 5.8 inch display box in the middle of the screen. We slide to select the colour between silver or black. So then you tap the colour choice once you've slid it from side to side. Then the next step is tap the 64 gig or the 256 gig box. Tap add if you want Apple Care Plus, Australian $299.
Oh, okay, $299.
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
exaggerate
it's
with
not
that
quite as scary as
$300 crap,
300.
pal.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that. I was already just so freaked out by the price. I must have taken it in wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we go tap add to bag. Now, you can't actually do that at the moment because it's not available to order. And the thing is, you've got to keep trying. You can click discover, then shop, back and forth, and it keeps your order there as you keep trying to refresh the screen. Don't close the app because that means you have to start again.
But what you can do is, instead of hitting add to bag, which you can't do,
Yeah.
you can favorite it. So the little heart thing.
Yeah.
So go through, pick your device, get it all configured the way you want it, go and favorite it, and then all you need to do is hit your account button on the day, and right near the top there are all your favorited items pre-configured. And the other thing is, if you do have Apple Pay available, go into your account tab now, make sure it's all set up properly, make sure your billing address is correct, your delivery address, all of that stuff that you need to fill out. Make sure all of that is done now, so that come 501/601/401 or wherever you live, you can just hit your account button. There's your phone ready to go. Bang, 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 done.
Keep
Apple
trying.
Pay it.
Keep trying.
And moving on. Yeah.
Hey, excellent. The man's a genius. I've also got here, if you're in front of your Mac, go to the store.apple.com/au. Don't forget the AU, and do the process there as well, and then keep refreshing it till you get your order in. So that way you're going in two places at the same time.
Oh, get your iPad out at the same time.
Yeah, go for it. Go for the deal.
You might end up with 7 phones accidentally, but that's all right. You can sell them.
But yeah, we'll add to that the bit about favoriting it. That sounds like an awesome idea. So I've done a bit more research too on the iPhone 10 ordering. So with Vodafone. So I was talking to a Vodafone person today. So one is expect delays if you're trying to order it from Vodafone, as opposed, because you can order it from Vodafone, and I'm sure you can order it from Telstra and Optus and who else? That's all I think in Australia, isn't it? I don't think there's 4. But yeah, expect delays. You can start calling before 6 o'clock on Friday, but you may get told you have to ring back. Be polite to the staff. Remember, you're sucking up to them. They're not sucking up to you.
Yeah.
And he said that all staff are expected in on Friday night because they're expecting to get hammered with people trying to order the phone.
Absolutely.
Vodafone effectively are pre-ordering the phone for you on the call. And if you're on a contract, you can arrange for Vodafone to call you. But if you're on a SIM only, you need to do the call and make sure your payments are up to date. Yes. So it's all part of sucking up to them.
Yep.
Now another option, as I said, I've done a lot of research today. You can buy from Apple interest-free. So when you go to the website, store.apple.com/au, don't forget the AU, and way down the bottom of the page is a financing link. And here you can apply. There's a button, apply now, for personal finance, or you can click a link for business finance. And you can go through this process so you have your credit arranged before it is time to pre-order. So again, that's basically getting your money and everything ready and approved like Apple Pay. So yeah, it's all part of being very prepared for the phone.
And once again, it's over 2. And if you haven't been saving up for a while, you might need to take that on board too now.
Yeah.
So the financing might be the way to go. Because even though I had the $299 wrong, I was a bit alarmist there. Even though that it's still over $2,000 by the time if you get the 256 gig model.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
I'll be waiting till I can get a deal through my carrier, I think.
Will there ever be a deal through the carrier, I think?
Oh, in my case, maybe.
Maybe not this year.
Maybe not for a while, no.
Because there's all these
We'll see.
stories which I haven't actually got any in the story about. They haven't been able to make enough, and they can't get this part to work, or they can't get that part to work, and then there's another story that says they've got 4 million ready to go on the day, and
4 million's not enough, though, is it? That's the problem.
No.
Yeah.
But if they're making $1 million a day, they've plenty of time.
If they are making $1 million a day. $1 million a day is a damn lot of phones.
It is, isn't it? It's amazing.
That's insane.
Even just the 4 million that they're starting with, if you think they're making, say, $600 profit per phone, they're not doing too bad, are they?
In the bank there. No. Bit of cash. Bit of cash flow there.
Yeah. Pay for the next $1 million. Now, to get off the phone for a little while, Tim Cook talks education, diversity and more in an interview with the Chicago mayor. Apple this week opened its new flagship retail store in Chicago, and present at the opening were several Apple executives. Tim Cook, Angela Ahrendts and Eddie were all in attendance, giving interviews, taking selfies and more. While there, Cook sat down with the mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, for an in-depth interview on Emanuel's own podcast called Chicago Stories.
Hang on, let's just pause right there.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or has the mayor got his own podcast? Because that's kind of cool, right?
It is. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Anyway,
how to promote your city. Yeah. I think that's awesome. Yep. The interview covers a wide range of topics, including education, diversity, and more. And when talking about the new Chicago retail store, Cook explained that the city is a perfect match for the new flagship store due to its culture and artistic mindset. He said, Chicago hosts an incredible diverse community, and there is a realisation here that coding is important, and we love that. We felt that over the time period and the natural place for us to go in and connect to the community, and then with your personal leadership on the Riverfront project, finding this spot, I realised it didn't look like this before, and people were wondering, oh, why are you going there? But we saw beauty there, and we thought about it and what we could do. And when you put all of those things together, it's natural we should be here, because they actually rebuilt this old building and changed the world for Chicago.
Okay. Oh, what's
bit of
going on?
noise.
Bit of siloing there.
Yeah, don't know what happened there. Also noting, Cook also touched on Apple's work to make coding prevalent in colleges around the country. Also noting of how Apple found that community colleges are more diverse than standard 4-year institutions. And what we found, as we started with community colleges, the community colleges are significantly more diverse than the 4-year universities. It's like night and day, honestly. And I mean gender diversity and ethnic diversity. Now, a couple of other things. The Apple CEO discussed Chicago's small town feeling, noting of how kind and inviting people are. That's a pretty good ad for Chicago.
Yeah.
And something that also came up apparently is that Tim Cook still gets his own coffee.
Sometimes.
Yes, I'm sure. So we've got a link to the story and a link to the podcast, and it's called Chicago's Mayor and As American as Apple Inc. So that's the one. So don't forget, we need to promote our friends, Aussie Tech Radio, with the Aussie Tech Security Podcast, and our famous award-winning Aussie Tech Heads Podcast. And don't forget, Apple News, Aussie Mac Zone. Just remember, just do a search for us and click that heart and favourite us again. And I added a story, a review this week on a nice little iPhone case that's actually got this little bar across the front and a window, so you don't even have to open the phone, open the cover to answer the phone. You just slide.
Oh, okay. Yep.
The little bars across the front are actually in the right place, and it just lets you answer the call. There's a little window there. You can see who the call is. You can see the date and time and all that sort of stuff, and then you can just slide your finger or your thumb across the bars on the front of the cover and just start talking. It's brilliant.
Very cool. Very cool.
It is very cool. It's very nice, comfortable, less slippery.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got another interesting story of how life and times are changing. Billboard is shifting how it charts Apple Music and other streaming services next year. They've announced that it will adjust how it weights and calculates streaming music starting in 2018. Changes will include more weight given for paid music services like Apple Music than ad-supported services. They figure that if you want to listen to it and you're prepared to pay up front, then that's excellent. In an article describing all of the changes to come, the company said it is our goal at Billboard to accurately portray in an unbiased manner how music performs relative to other music. And as we recently reported, music revenue is up 17% for the first half of the year thanks to streaming music, which made up over 60% of the revenue. So there is a comeback.
There must be a first time that they've had revenue increasing.
Yeah, for a while, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. For a while, obviously, not forever, but yeah, for a while. And it only makes sense that they do change the way they, provide weighting for those figures.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So with these trends, Billboard recognised the need to revisit how it weights the variety of digital music services. So again, links to the story. But yeah, I know that they've changed in Australia how we weigh our music, and I'm sure they keep doing it to keep it up to date.
Yeah, and as they're saying, it's meant to be a reflection of the importance of the music. So yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, Tim Cook email claims Mac Mini important part of Apple's product matrix.
Is this not a great story or
yes.
what?
Awesome. Finally. We love that. We love our Mac Minis, I tell you.
Some recognition that it's not completely and utterly dead.
Yep. So a Mac rumor reader wrote to Cook asking if there was anything in the pipeline regarding the Mac Mini that was last updated over 3 years ago. Cook responded affirmatively, while it is not time to share any details, the product is still an important part of the product line going forward. So I've got a copy of the letter, etc., on the link.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the only thing with that though, right, is
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 next to me, Mac Minis.
Oh my goodness.
All working.
All doing something or all working?
Well, they're all there for a reason. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Earning a living.
Yeah. Well, see the thing that gets me here, right? We've got a timeline on the Mac Pro, on the iMac Pro.
Yep.
That's not before too long, and they've also quite some time ago announced plans around the Mac Pro.
Yep.
But we're not expecting that till I don't know first half of next year, probably May, July, something like that.
Yep.
And this time we're not even ready to share any kind of timeline at all. So what is this? How long is it going to be?
Well,
is this the 2019?
Yeah.
Will I get my Tesla before I get a new Mac Mini? Is this what?
Well, the question also, it's actually been reported now that there is no chance of any event in October.
Yeah. Yes.
So does that
No
mean we're going to
October
have
event.
one in November? Because
No.
we are still expecting stuff. They've still got to talk about the speaker, haven't they?
Well,
or are they just going to show up?
Maybe they won't. They might just throw it on out there along with the iMac.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
iMac Pro, here it is. We told you about it. There it is. Here's the speaker. Buy it if you want.
Yep.
There's precedence for that. The AirPods probably one of their more. Mine are missing, by the way. It's not a good thing. But
The kids have got
they
them,
might
have they?
not have an event for either of those products.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sure my 15-year-old does pinch them quite regularly because he has a 7 with no headphone jack, so they're great for him. But yeah, until hearing this story around the Mac Mini, I was wondering if the Mac Pro, they were talking about the Mac Pro being very modular in design. That's what they were going for, so you could expand it over time, pick the components you want to a degree.
Yep.
Obviously, we don't have any detail around that, but there was talk about it being much more modular. And I was wondering if the Mac Mini was sort of gone, and a very configurable Mac Pro is what you had instead. And if you wanted to get a very cheap version of it, you could, without it, and it still being in a small form factor.
Yeah.
But maybe not. my very short-lived theory seems to be wrong.
I can tell you a couple of things. They do appear to have slowed down a little bit. As I said, it hasn't been updated for 3 years. With the last 2 operating systems, they're pretty graphics intensive, and that tends to make them run a bit warmer, so they slow down.
Yeah.
But if you put an SSD in it, it just transforms it. It's awesome.
Oh man, I look, I wouldn't. Any Mac with a spinning hard drive, I'm afraid, to me is, you just open the Finder and it's waiting. I don't know. SSDs in Macs, I think, improve them even more than SSDs in Windows machines for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They make a huge difference. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so it just transforms it. So I've got a bit of a rant here at the moment. So these are my thoughts, right? Just everyone be aware. So
I'll sit back.
So this Monday night, which is the 23rd of the 10th, there's an ABC Four Corners story on the woes of the NBN. There was an interview last week with the boss of the NBN, re speed issues, where he pointed out if your streaming or downloads slow down, say at the end of the school day, it's because the ISPs are not buying enough bandwidth for the various times of the day. Now, I actually rang up and confirmed this next statement that I'm about to make. So I want you to remember the NBN supply the infrastructure, not the end product. It's up to your ISP to supply sufficient bandwidth. So, and as I said, I rang up and confirmed that comment today to make sure I was right. So, as I've ranted about before, I'm with my net phone. Absolutely awesome. And I admit I've got cable coming to my door. Fibre coming to my door. My family, who also live in the same townhouses that I do, have fibre going to their door. They're with another supplier, and they have dropouts and speed issues and speed going up and down when you're testing it during the day. So, please, I don't know why everyone's blaming the NBN when the NBN are only putting the glass down the street or wherever they're told they're allowed to lay it.
I think, that may be the case when there is glass down the street, but I think that's half the story, to be honest. There is situations where whole areas of NBN will go out, and it is an NBN issue, not the provider's issue. I think it's some from one column and some from column A and some from column B.
Yeah.
With that one.
Yeah. But that's just my little rant. And what do you know anyway? You don't even have it.
I know, right?
That's why I'm not getting any fight out of him, because he can't comment.
Oh, and I looked on my thing, and up until recently it said HFC in October.
Yeah.
And now that it's October, it says fibre to the node in April, and I'm not very amused.
No. Sucks. Something's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then our fantastic Prime Minister made the comment that he said it was a what do you say? I've forgotten these exact words now. Basically, it was they should have never done it in the first place. Personally, they should have just done it the way they decided to do it in the first place and got on with it. But anyway.
Yep.
And I don't care who you vote for. I just want the NBN to work. That's all.
This decade.
Yes.
Or, at least the next decade.
Well, they want us to be it. Anyway.
Moving on.
As I talked about last week, I had a flickering mouse selection issue. So what the customer was happening was, if they went down, say a list of your mail items, it'd get down to the bottom and then it'd start, like you couldn't go back up. It'd just sit there going flicker, 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 flicker. And then if you, say, clicked on an Adobe product in the background, it'd automatically go to the bottom of that page and it wouldn't let you move around. And what it ended up being, it was the down arrow on the keyboard was sticking, but only sometimes.
Oh no!
And it was just.
Hey, it's not one of those new MacBooks, is it?
No. It was an older keyboard on a older iMac, and it was just driving us batty trying to. Just ended up being the down arrow sticking.
The down arrow. Yeah. The down arrow does have an effect.
So yeah. So that's what it was. I did talk about that last week. So yeah, threw the keyboard away. Got another one. Remembering you can't buy a USB cable attached keyboard anymore from Apple.
No. But I will say I love this keyboard. The the smart
big one.
They call it.
Yeah.
Smart big one. Yeah. Beautiful.
And they last so long. The battery must be enormous inside because they just last so long. Yeah.
And it's so easy to, to charge them up anyway. Just
Yeah.
plug them into any of your lightning, and
Yeah.
away you go.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
So, anything else, my friend?
No, Michael, no.
There was
a
one
wrap
more thing.
for tonight.
We did have one listener's comment about a problem
Oh yes.
with accessibility and our Aussie Mac Zone webpage. So we're going to look into that and see how we can improve it for you. So
Very good.
but yeah, just so we haven't ignored you, we did get it. Thank you. So thank you to our listeners, our sponsors, and our supporters. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.